The postseason is here, folks. I'm Jason Bryant from Mat Talk Online, and I have my annual almanac of Division I wrestling facts, stats, and figures for Detroit coming at the 2022 NCAA Division I Championships. I call it the guide. Go get it right now, $25, WrestlingPreviewGuide.com. What's in this? Well, I will give you a tour of the 2020 guide. Sorry to dig that bad memory up for you folks, but this is what's going to be in this thing so you can have an understanding of what you're getting for $25, why it's worth it, why Shane Sparks loves this more than Matt returns. This is at the head table at the NCAA Championships. This is at the production truck for ESPN. This has been used by the Matt Side commentators. It's been used by the play-by-play commentators. Mike Cousins from ESPN references this thing every single year. This is a digital publication, PDF, so you can read it on your computer, your phone, your iPad, your Android, wherever fine PDFs are read. Yeah, you can do that here. So I'll give you a run-through of what's in this thing, just so you know this 200-page-plus document is worth your time. It's worth my time. That's why I do it every year. I put my reputation on how good this thing is, because nothing like this is ever produced in NCAA wrestling every year. This, I will say this is better than the program. Why? Yeah, it doesn't have the articles, but it's got more of those stats. So, I mean, reading it for the articles, where we've heard that before. Now, let's take a look at what happened in 2020 again to big it up. I start you out with the basic nuts and bolts. You want the schedule of events. We got that. Then we've got the table of contents. These are all clickable links, so you tap it on your finger. Boom, we can do that. So I'm going to jump back to page 2 because I'm not going to go page by page, but I'm going to give you an update on what this thing kind of is. So we'll go through it. You get your table of contents. You get your links to the past brackets, courtesy of WrestleStats.com. Now, WrestleStat has provided a bunch of stuff in here, too. We'll update Tony Hager's emoji chart. We'll also look at the team champions from the past. This is stuff that you will used to see in a program or online and things like that. But then we get into things you don't get. This is the research that I've poured years into doing this. What coaches have the most titles? What coaches have the top 4 and top 10 finishes? Participant history by year. These are things that you think about when you're at the pub, who the returning All-Americans are, when you got to do your draws and things like that. You want to know all these things. So I give you the brackets. Of course, you can get those via Track Wrestling, and then ways to support. Then I give you a tournament primer. How do you score this thing? Are you one of the few people in this world that can actually score a 32-man bracket by hand? Well, if you are not, this will help you understand how that is actually done. I give you every single coach's poll for the year. I give you every single dual meet result, the conference standings. We have conference results. We're going to keep rolling through. I'm just going to click media rankings. How do they compare to the seeds? That's always a fun one. Of course, there's like a lot of pages of that. I mean, this is waiting for the, there we go. Team Twitter links, as I said, if we can just get my technology to work here. There we go. Screen sharing, you got to love it. Then we go the team bios. This is one of my favorite things. It's the capsules. So you want to know about Arizona State. Well, they're in the Pac-12. They're in Tempe, Arizona. They have 50,000 undergraduates. Zeke Jones. Now, this is from a couple years ago, so we still have Chris Pendleton and Jamil Kelly on staff there. But this is a 2 years ago book. Okay, this is all updated. This year's stuff, this year's data. Every wrestler, how many times they've been at their quick credentials. So if you're a radio guy, if you're a broadcast guy, if you're a newspaper guy, if you're a fan that just says, hey, Columbia, they had those 2 guys. How are they done? Boom. You've got all that, all the team bio information. WrestleStat has provided me with some extra bonus materials. We'll get to that when we get to the fantasy primer section, but I give you every qualifier by weight class, their records sorted. There are so many different sorts. You want to know how things are working? The conference breakdowns. Qualifiers by win percentage, how the at-larges were selected, quick qualifier totals, qualifiers by team, most states by team, high schools, brothers in the field, total qualifier, school breakdown by performance, fantasy stats. This is for you guys that like your pick'em contests. I give you do's and don'ts. You look at the numbers and you want that value pick. I can tell you where not to pick it. I can show you stats on where to pick it based on seeds in our current format since we've had the weight changes. I use 1999. That's a great way to start. 125 to the new weight classes is how we started from the old 118s. Then we also get remembering the unseeded, the old unseeded nationals. I know people had that. They had to pick unseeded guys. Well, we seed all 33 now. It also tells you the top 8 seed by performance. We have so many different things that we can load up here. And then here comes the bonus stuff. You need, all right, I need a 25-pounder. Who's got the most pins? Well, most majors that 1 year, that was Brandon Courtney. So if you get a low pick, for example, like, who's got the most bonus points? You need that backside win or something to get that extra 1.5 or so. Boom, you're good there. the national champions. Who's got the most national champions by state? This is always a discussion. Who's the best? No, I did not do per capita. Sorry, Iowa. Now we keep going. 4-time All-Americans, all that historical stuff. Who's got the champs? Gory-Ron winners, Hodge winners, streaks of who's got the most All-Americans, multiple champions by team. Like how many times have there been 5 champions? When did they happen? Who had the places? What was the year? All this great stuff is in here. All-time participants, in those teams that we don't have anymore. How many do they have? By the decade. Then the blood round stats. This is probably the most brutal to tell you how many people have made the blood round the most times and not placed. Oh, that's gut-wrenching. Qualifiers by year, so what team has had the best performance by the last decade. Now, the championship bios. This is my bread and butter. So let's look at this right now. For example, let's zoom in on Devin Schroeder. You can do this. You can do the whole pinch thing. We'll zoom right in. So back then, Devin Schroeder was the 5 seed. Purdue, junior. Here's his record. Here's his win percentage. Here's how many times he's been to the tournament, what he placed in his conference, what his record is versus the field, his hometown, his high school, and what state that's in. Because, we got some people that go to, like Thomas Gilman, lived in Iowa, went to high school in Nebraska. We also have the coaches rank, the WrestleStat rank. Then they're match by date outcomes. Every single result. Nothing in the history of wrestling has ever produced anything like this. And that is why you need to buy this at WrestlingPreviewGuide.com. It has got everything you want to know. $25 now. If you look around, you can find some promo codes out there. I know some friends of the program, friends of Blood Round, friends of Stalemates, the Alan Josh Show. If you get my newsletter, if you listen to the podcast, there are several places you can find yourself a promo code to save $5. But right now, retail's $25. It's worth every single penny. You will not be disappointed. Stake my reputation on it. WrestlingPreviewGuide.com. Get the guide, folks. Get the guide for Detroit Rock City.